Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel, Shelly's Millions. It's the California EDD unemployment question and answer live session. I have a big pimple. I need to turn off my heater. I want to talk about people that have a claim balance on their EDD claims. I know a lot of people thought that they were going to be able to certify yesterday, and they were surprised to learn that they weren't able to. Yesterday was the 2-week time period after the last Fed Ed payment. So you really have to check what program type you're on and make sure that, hold on. I accidentally switched it to air conditioning instead of messing with the fan. You have to check your program type. If you were paid under the Fed Ed program type, even if you had a claim balance, the Fed Ed program expired on September 11th. So if that's the last program type that you were paid under, you wouldn't be expecting any other payments. Man, I look a mess. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention, the EDD continues to tweet about filing a new claim or reapplying for unemployment benefits. But remember that in order to qualify, you're going to need some attachment to the labor force. In order to have two back-to-back claims, there's going to need to be there's an earnings requirement and a some work requirement in order to qualify for two back-to-back unemployment claims. And so most of us aren't going to qualify. And anybody that should have been rolled over to the DNC program, if you're seeing the option to reopen your claim, you should go ahead and click reopen claim. All right, now let's get into your questions. I hope everybody's having a good night. I'm having a better day today. Still having phone issues. Actually, on my whole shift at work today, I forgot my old nasty phone here at work. Here at home. Well, I guess this is work too. Anyway, but a friend visited my mom, like another friend. So she's seen a couple of her friends that she hasn't seen in a while. She saw them back to back. Okay. I have pinned both my claimer discount code. If you have pending payments, I know we're approaching September 30th, and a lot of you still have pending payments from the EDD. You can go ahead and call if you haven't already used claimer. My code saves you $5 off the first time. If you're over calling the EDD, I have the assembly member, find your rep link, pinned as the top comment, and then also the housing is key phone number, which if you need rental assistance or rent relief, I recommend calling over just filing online, because if you just apply online, it's going to make it appear that you don't qualify for rent relief, but the program is supposed to help cover future rent. Okay. Thank you, Vanessa. I assure you I'm not that amazing, but thank you. Mercedes says, I tried to apply for a new claim and was denied because I didn't have enough wages. So what should I do next? Pray my finances aren't in trouble. Yes. And, something that you guys have been asking me to do is actually make a video on help with your utilities and things like that. Housing is key is supposed to also provide some help if you're behind on your utilities. But in addition to that, call your individual utility providers. If you're LAD, DWP, SoCal Gas, I think there's SoCal Edison. I think those are different. I know that there's, whatever your electric company is, whatever your gas company is, call them and see if they have help for people with low incomes. Remember, maybe if you didn't previously qualify for food stamps, CalFresh, EBT, you might qualify now because your income has just been reduced. Same with healthcare coverage. And unfortunately, I forgot about this, but California, this is a law that Trump passed that if you don't have healthcare coverage, it actually goes back to 2020. One of my employees was just hit by a big tax surprise because he didn't have healthcare coverage all of 2020. And now there's a penalty because of that. And it's not something that California is doing. It's how kind of the prior president wrote those laws. What else? So food assistance, rental assistance, Also, reach out to your creditors. A lot of times, like if you haven't, and now is the time to do this, guys. If you're not behind on your payments yet, but you're worried that you're going to get behind on your credit card payments, a lot of times, first of all, if your credit's really good, look into a 0% credit card offers. Those are normally pretty good. You pay like a one-time flat fee to roll over your balance that you're paying high interest on onto a 0% interest, and then cut up your old card because you don't want to use that again. If your credit's not good, but you've still been paying your payments on time, you've been making the minimum payments, but you're struggling, call your creditor, just the number on the back of your credit card. And I want you to do two things. The first is you're going to say, do you have any programs that can help me? I just lost my unemployment benefits. Am I able to skip 3 months of payments? Sometimes they'll let you skip up to 3 months of payments. They are going to tack those on to the end, and then you're going to owe more interest. I think the interest accrues. So when you go back to paying them, your balance might be higher than the last time you paid it. But something else that they might do is they might lower your interest rate, right? Like I don't have the exact numbers, but let's say you owe $10,000 on a credit card and you're paying $100 every month in interest. Um, Sometimes they might be able to work it out so that you're only paying $80 a month in interest. Sometimes they can lower your APR, your annual percentage rate, on the amount that you're paying on your credit card. Basically, anybody that you're making payments to, you want to call them and see if they'll lower the payments or negotiate the interest rate that you're currently paying on those credit cards. And yes, we're going to hope that you get through this. Scotty, work did go pretty good today. Oh my God, you got promoted to an entry-level manager over the weekend, and it'll be official once you go through a full background check and drug check. That's awesome because I remember when you first got the job, and then two, I remember you saying you're like, I'm doing the responsibilities of a manager, and that's not what I signed on for. But now, because you've done that hard work, you've done the extra things that they've asked of you, you're getting promoted. And I think that's awesome. That's really great. Also, I've seen a lot of you say that you're getting jobs at places like Walmart and fast food places. There is no shame in that. Treat every job. You never know who you're going to meet, right? You never, ever, ever know. If you're pleasant, if you're going above and beyond, there's usually opportunities. Sometimes also, like, let's say that's not your dream job. You don't want to tell your employer that, but like, go to whoever your manager is and say, you know what? I'm really grateful for this job. I'm enjoying it, but I really like accounting, or I used to do accounting, or I have experience in HR, or I'm a really good office manager. And a lot of times, like, and then you're going to say this to your current employer, so please keep me in mind if there's any opportunities at the corporate office that you hear of, because I'm interested in moving up. A lot of times, my mom always says the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Like if you communicate with your employers, if you show that you have initiative and drive that you want to move up, there most of the time they will try and help you get there and they'll keep you in mind. Okay. All right. Oops. Hi, Debbie. I always love Debbie's emojis. It's Halloween. I left her a bunch of Halloween emojis yesterday. Prince Ali. Today I called the EDD to try and get someone to file for me. No luck. Do you think contacting an assemblyman is a good way to get in contact with an auditor or someone else who can file for me? They should have helped you file online unless they somehow looked and were able to see that you couldn't qualify. Because I am hearing that on some claims, it's putting right at the bottom that in red that you don't need to apply because you don't have enough earnings. Keep in mind, an employer reports quarterly wages to the EDD, so sometimes the EDD might look and say, "No, you're not going to qualify." Now, if you were told that they wouldn't help you or that you don't qualify, yes, see if it doesn't hurt to reach out to your assembly member. They have been so helpful. So yeah, it's definitely worth asking them. Ready for the world. You're very welcome. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so nice. Everybody tells me I have a calm voice, so I'm hoping, I would love to do some voiceover work. Um, I think there's some work from home opportunities for that, and there's YouTube videos on how to find those jobs, so I need to investigate that, and then I wanna report back to you guys how that went and if I found work doing that and how much it paid, because maybe that would be something that you guys would wanna do as well. Sugar Sprinkles, I'm good. How are you? Michael, if I'm free tomorrow tomorrow at 7, I know I have inventory at the theater. Um, Theater inventory is monthly, and I don't know how other stores do it, but like you know how like retail stores they go and like they scan like every pair of earrings and every pair of socks and everything, right? So it's the equivalent of that at the movie theater. We have to count I don't have to count individual sugar packets, but like I have to count cases of sugar packets and things like that. We do that once a month and that's tomorrow. So I don't even know if I'll have time to pop in quickly and say hello on Jenny Silver's live stream. Okay. Myra says, will there be a boost anytime soon? They're not talking about it. They're not talking about a boost for unemployment or an unemployment extension right now. Butter pecan, you're making me want some ice cream. I got a letter saying I was on extension and can't certify. Yeah, so that would be the Fed Ed extension. And that's what a lot of people thought. They got the 1 week of Fed Ed, they saw their claim balances increase, but you can't certify again because the whole Fed Ed program expired September 11th. So the only way that you would qualify to keep certifying is if you qualify for a new claim. And again, you can't have 2 back-to-back claims unless you've met the earnings requirement and you've completed the sum work requirement. Okay. Yeah, most people are not going to qualify. That's what Jillian's saying. Genevieve, what is DNCP? It stands for Deferred New Claim Payment. If you qualified for that, you should have already received a note about it. And that would have happened back whenever your original benefit year ended. When your original benefit year ended and you were asked to file a new claim, if you qualified for the DNCP program, it would be because you got an award letter and your weekly benefit amount decreased by more than $25. So they were trying to help people out and they were like, hey, we're going to keep you on the extensions at the higher amount. And then once you've run out of available extensions, we're going to move you over onto your new claim at the lower weekly benefit amount. The letter is not called DNCP. Please tell me I favorited this. I feel like I favorited it on one of the lives before. So let me go to my favorites and see if I can. Where are my favorites? How do I what? Okay, my albums. That's not it. Where's favorites? All right. Well, I might have favorited it. Oh, I found my favorites. Okay. And yes, I did favorite it. That took just as long finding my favorites tonight. I'm a little tired. It's okay. What the DNCP notice actually said is it says, and this would have should be in your UI Online inbox. It might not have come by mail. So check your UI Online inbox. And it says, notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. So that's like the big bold print at the top of the letter that you'd be looking for. Guys, I'm getting old. I need bifocals, I think. Like when I'm reading things a little bit far away from me, I need my glasses. Like people standing away are blurry, but then when I'm like reading things up close, I have to take them off. I don't love getting old. Okay, Cindy says, I got a letter. I was allowed another extension, but I haven't been able to certify. So that might have been the Fed Ed extension letter. And I wish I would have had time last week to make a video about this. The EDD, of course, they would do something like this. They let you certify for the 1 week of Fed Ed. That program ended September 11th after the program ended. So after everybody certified on September 11th, the physical letters started going out in the mail a few days after you already certified. So if you were thinking it was going to end on September 11th, you certified and got paid on September 11th. And then a few days later, you got a letter saying that you qualified for another extension. I could understand why that would be confusing. But unfortunately, the entire Fed Ed program did end. It expired. Any claim balance is no longer payable on a Fed Ed claim. Man, my hair, everything. Anyway, it's no longer payable on a Fed Ed extension. Raymond, you're welcome. Raymond, you comment on all of my videos and I appreciate it. Just that you take the time out of it. Raymond's so sweet. It's the same comment every time, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it just the same. I really do. Thank you. Joel, what happens if we try to apply for a new claim on the phone? Can that work? Yeah, that should. Like if they helped you file a new claim, um, but then maybe it might be about 3 weeks before you hear. The letter should arrive. It shouldn't take 3 weeks for the original letter, but you should receive some documentation that you tried to file a new claim, either letting you know if you qualified or letting you know if you didn't. That should come about 10 business days after you filed the new claim. Okay, now I think I'm warm enough so I can turn off the whole heater. Okay. Julie says, I registered for it the first time on August 24th, and a letter was mailed to me the following week. It has $14,000 claim balance for 86 weeks, 167 per week. I didn't get the EDD account number in the mail. Julie, I gotta try and shoot. You know what, you guys? Sometimes I keep this as top chat and I need it to be all chat. So if I've skipped your question, I think I might have had my settings a little weird. Because Julie, I'm only getting the second part of your question. What do you need your EDD account number for? They should have sent that to you though. Hi, Jose. Patty says, when we recertified at the end of our benefit year, I was told I qualified for $375 a week, but never received a DNCP letter or anything. I can't reach them. Do I need to reapply now? Possibly. I would keep trying to reach them, and I would call or email your assembly member. You can call your assembly member, but I prefer email. That way there's a written trail. Normally I prefer email versus calling, except for the Housing is Key program. Right now, if you're applying for Housing is Key, I actually recommend calling over trying to apply online. So keep in mind, though, that you're not going to qualify for a new claim unless you've done some work since originally getting your first claim, your original claim. So everybody got an award letter. So for me, I got a 1277 determination of invalid claim letter because I hadn't done enough work since my original claim to qualify for the new claim. This was back in March 2020. That's when my original benefit year ended. After that, I got an award letter, and the award letter said that I qualified for $450 a week. But because I had already got the determination of invalid claim number 1277 letter, that's going to mean that I didn't qualify for a new claim. So one of three things should have happened when your benefit year ended. Thing number one is you would have gotten a 1277 determination of invalid claim letter. Thing number two that could have happened is you received that DNCP letter, which is actually a notice that says notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. Or three, they should have put you on the new claim. Those are really the only three things that should have happened when you filed your new claim. So everyone got an award letter though. And so the award letters could say the award letters too, I think, would say three different things. Some people, if they didn't qualify at all, if they didn't have wages, their award letter would say $0. Some people like me, during the base period, I had enough wages to qualify for a whole new claim at $450 a week. So my benefit amount appeared to be the same on the award letter, but I didn't truly qualify for the new claim at my old weekly benefit amount because I didn't meet the qualifications. I hadn't worked enough since filing my original claim, which is why I got the 1277 letter. And then the third possibility is you could have gotten a weekly benefit amount that was lower. I guess technically there was a fourth scenario, but these are the three main ones that you would have gotten a award letter with a benefit amount of $25 or less on your old claim. then your old claim, and then you should have gotten that DNCP letter. So just because you got an award letter doesn't mean you qualified for a new claim. Okay. Hi, Ben. Oh, there's a song called Shelly's Fortunes. Oh, I think you meant to say you wrote a song. I would love to hear Shelly's Fortunes. You should upload it on YouTube, or I'm on Instagram as Shelly's Millions. Feel free to, like, I don't know if it'll let you send sound files there, but that's a good way to contact me. Okay. Patty Stores, thank you for saying that you love the walls. I bought the house like this, and then it turned out they kind of make a good backdrop for YouTube videos. I always meant to paint this room, and I never did. And I guess I'm glad because I get some compliments on it. Mercedes says, for car payments, since your credit has improved and I'm in the 700s, is it possible I could lower? Yes. I'm going to finish your sentence, but absolutely yes. We're going to talk about that for a minute. Is it possible I can lower my 8.44% interest rate on the car to 0 or even 3%? Thank you. Absolutely. And actually, I want you to try a couple of credit unions are usually the best for refinancing your car. My car's currently paid off. I refinanced it 3 times. Like, I want to say in the first 2 years. First, I got the Toyota financing, and that rate wasn't bad. And then in the city of Claremont, I somehow got a letter from Toyota of Claremont that said that they would pay me like $1,000 and lower my interest rate if I had to go in person and transfer my loan to them. So I did that. And then my coworkers were all telling me that they had 1.69% through First Entertainment Credit Union. And that is geared towards people in the entertainment industry, but you actually don't have to be a member of the entertainment industry to work with First Entertainment Credit Union. What they did tell me is that I needed to put $5 in a savings account, but am I going to put $5 in a savings account with them in order to save more money on my monthly payment? And yes, 8.44% is really high. So First Entertainment Credit Union is a credit union. I can't seem to say credit union, having trouble enunciating. Also, Navy First Credit Union. I'm not sure if you have to be a member of the armed services, but look up credit unions. Those often have better rates than traditional banks, but absolutely you should qualify for a better interest rate. So you go get that better interest rate, and that'll save you some money on your monthly payments. And for anybody else in the same situation, please do the same. Shop around, and don't be afraid when you're at bank number 1 or credit union number 1. I can't say credit union. Anyway, don't be afraid to tell them that you're going to be shopping around and that you want their best, lowest rate possible. Okay. Hi, Catherine. Can I still apply for housing application over the phone, or should I do the online app? So my advice there, I was just saying I do prefer the phone for that. And here's why. When you do it online, it makes it look like if you're not currently behind on rent that you don't qualify. And so it's just going to be better to call and talk to them. I am getting a lot of people say, "Oh, you have to practically be homeless in order for them to help you." So if they ask you, "Are you at risk of being homeless?" Say yes. And then go on to say, while I had my unemployment benefits, I was able to pay my rent. But now that I've lost my unemployment benefits, I don't think I'm going to be able to pay it again. And if I can't pay it, I would become homeless. Um, can you help me with future rent? Because the Housing is Key Rent Relief Rental Assistance Program, it's not just for people that are already behind. It can help with up to 3 months of future rent, even if you're not behind. But if you apply online and you're not already behind on rent, it's going to appear that you don't qualify. Also, when they ask, or if they ask if you're at risk of homelessness, if you have a past due utility bill, that can be something that would prove that. And I don't want you guys to be past due on your utility bills, but in writing, it says that would qualify. And I think one of the reasons they're making it seem like that is they are helping the lowest income individuals first. So that might be where they're asking that. Okay, Skylar says, so if the federal government may shut down due to Republicans and Democrats not being able to agree, what does that mean for individual states and EDD? So, first of all, that normally doesn't happen. That's normally, I know that they're talking about it happening. This happens all the time. I remember, I think a lot of us have become a lot more aware of what's going on politically than we were before the pandemic, right? I know I have. But I know as I got older, I started to pay more attention to politics. And I remember the first time hearing, oh, the government might shut down. I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? What it means is like non-essential government offices would close down. It can mean that things like the post office aren't delivering your mail, I think. Don't quote me on this. This is my understanding. And the people that actually cut the checks for like Social Security, they're not there to cut the checks to Social Security. So that affects like a lot of our senior citizens. Um, and it doesn't mean that just because somebody's not there to cut the check that one day, that our seniors aren't gonna get their Social Security benefits that month. It just means they're not gonna get them on time, but that's enough to, like, mess up some people's, like, whole bill schedule. So that's something that could happen. I think I Googled it. Again, don't quote me because I am still learning a lot about politics, even though I know way more than pre-pandemic. I don't think that things like we're not gonna suddenly be at risk of like having a war started because like the government shut down, we don't have an army or something like that. Those are considered essential services, and I believe that those do continue. But people could get like delayed Social Security payments. I suppose unemployment is a federal no, that's run by the state. So I'm not sure, but then, like, they're not paying the state employees because, like, the governor would be a federal employee, even though he's the governor of California. I don't really they don't want it to shut down, like, it's not good, but if it did, like, I don't really think I don't know. I'm not personally worried about that. I'll Google it some more. Um, but I remember, like, just thinking that they made, like, a way bigger deal out of it, and then when I actually read about it, I was like, "This is not" like, it would suck, but it's not quite as bad as they make it seem, in my opinion, from what I understand. Disclaimer. One says, I am now down to my last week and my remaining balance on my UI claim. And I took my advice on applying to your dream jobs. You did a couple interviews and now you're just awaiting callbacks. I am so glad to hear that. Shoot your shot, you guys. Even if you don't think you're qualified for that job, guess what? You are probably more qualified than you realize. One of the biggest things that I encourage everybody to do, you don't always have to know the answers right away, right? Maybe don't say, I don't know on your interview. Hopefully, they won't ask you that. But it's okay to have never done a job before and to take a minute and think about something that you have done that would apply in a different setting. Like, I have a video coming up. It's a collaboration. I alluded to that the other day. It's about resume writing. And I said, a lot of times jobs these days, they want metrics like, oh, I did this. I improved this company's efficiency by 33%. I was like, really? I was like, how do we get that number? But maybe you can say, on my last review at my last job, it said that I cleaned the equipment 5 minutes faster. That's a measurable metric, and that ultimately saves the company money, because if you're cleaning something 5 minutes faster every night than someone else, as long as you're still doing it thoroughly, that saves them 5 minutes a night, every night, and, companies like that, like, cleaning, taking pride in your job, like, being willing to find the answer really means a lot to employers because sometimes people aren't willing to go and find the answers. So I hope you get that call back. And if you guys have any questions, like I was asked on this on an interview, how would you answer that? If you're concerned about like, was it legal? I can try and answer that for you. I'm not as good with resume writing because I've had the same job for a long time. But in terms of, I do interviewing at my job. So I'm happy if you guys want to ask some questions about that. And don't be nervous on your interview. You got this. Okay. Also, there's 108 of you in this video right now. I would love if you guys gave the video a thumbs up. Hi, Diamond Pikachu. Okay. And also, like, getting an interview right now is the hard part. So if you've had a couple interviews, like, really good on you, and I'm excited about that. Okay, Sahid? I think it's Shahid. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. What happens if I applied for unemployment twice? I already have an account open, and on accident, I filed a new claim, and now my account is frozen. So, your options are kind of to call the EDD and try and work that out, or email your assembly member for help with getting it unfrozen. I'm sorry that happened. Hi, Poison. Um, Poison, I'm not I do make money off the YouTube videos. I'm getting this comment a lot, but people still need help, and at this point, like the other day, I did an unboxing video for my iPhone, which is already broken. But because someone was thankful for the help I gave them, they stayed on my stream with me the whole time. And I'm 44, so setting up a new phone is not always the easiest thing for me. And I was really grateful for that. And I want to help. I want to continue doing YouTube. I want to make it work financially for me. I think I've always been upfront about that. I enjoy helping you guys. I don't ask you guys for any money. But YouTube pays me money for making the videos, and I've put a lot of time and effort into the videos, and I wanna be compensated for that. I do, I'm being honest, and I wanna continue doing that. I would love to grow to the point where I can actually bring more people on to help me with my channel, so there aren't people spamming in the chat. Um, and we don't have to talk about unemployment, but that's the questions that I get, so that's the ones I'm gonna answer. Um I hope you guys understand. I hope that doesn't come off like a jerk. But yeah, I don't need to be a big famous YouTuber, but I would love if I could get the channel to the point where it would replace what I'm making at the movie theater. Because just like all of you, I was furloughed when all of this happened, and it was scary. I didn't know if we'd ever reopen, and it's made me hesitant to want to I love my job and I'm back there, but it's made me hesitant to want to just rely on that job because I think we all saw how easily our places of employment how it could just end. So if I could be my own boss, if I could make YouTube work, then I could be my own boss and I would be relying on me. And I encourage you guys to also try out being your own boss. Start that side hustle. Maybe it'll become your main gig. Maybe it'll get you out of there faster. Maybe it'll give you more experience to answer when you go on that next interview. Also, don't sell yourself short. Go out there for your dream jobs and see what happens. All right. Um, Diamond Pikachu says, will EDD extend for another round after 9/4? Right now, it's not looking like it. Raymond, you got a job at Home Depot. Actually, I think Home Depot pays well. I think they have good opportunities for moving up. I think they have good discounts. And like, what if you meet somebody there? It's all the time when I'm there, I see business owners, people that are renovating houses. I don't, you're probably not allowed to do this while you're at work, but like, if you overhear somebody talking about like how they wish they could find somebody else to work on their contracting team, like maybe I don't know, don't violate your company's policy, but like maybe you could be like, "Hey, my off days are Tuesday and I'd be happy to help you." Like you never know where a job's going to lead you. But at the same time, like whatever your company's policy is on that, they might frown upon that. Or maybe if you overhear a conversation like that, like, oh, we're shorthanded, or oh, so and so called out sick today, just like try and remember their name. Like maybe they're wearing a shirt. Maybe don't talk to them about that while you're at work, but maybe like try and remember their name and then contact them on your own time when you're off work. Also, then you probably wouldn't want to say, hey, I saw you at Home Depot. Just pretend like, hey, do you guys need any extra help? And then see what they say. Okay. Sugar Sprinkles is helping Geneva. Thank you, thank you. Um, Diamond Pikachu is gonna go do rideshare. That's good too. That can be great money. It's a lot of hours to really make great money, from what I understand. It's been a long time. I used to drive Uber, but that was back in 2014. But yeah, that can definitely help you make ends meet. Mickey says, you were just hired with the government. Good. Government jobs are normally pay well and have more job security. Your training is 9:30, but the government may shut down that night at midnight. Do I contact EDD? What's next? Guys, so look, they're going to start your training. Government will shut down. Even if it did, probably would not shut down for very long, right? Politicians would start saying, we have to get our seniors their Social Security checks. Like eventually the government job would reopen, and then when it did, your training would resume. That's my understanding, at least. Hi, Christian. Butter Pecan says, I got a letter saying I'm being put on the FedEd extension. So the FedEd extension is now expired. The last day to collect benefits on that program was the date ending September 11th. And unfortunately, a lot of the letters saying that you qualified for FedEd and qualified for another extension, those arrived after the FedEd program ended. So unfortunately, even though you got that letter, also it says up to, I'm not sure if they fixed the letter and it's changed it to up to 13 weeks or if it said up to 20 weeks. But unfortunately, the whole program is now expired and there are no more payable weeks under the FedEd program. Jesse, that's fine if you got a job at McDonald's. Treat it just as seriously as if you were working for Tim Cook from Apple or Jeffrey Bezos or Elon Musk, because you never ever know. Maybe they'll come in and buy a sandwich from you, and they'll be like, "He's so awesome. We want you to come work." Maybe they'll like poach you. So yeah, just treat every job. You never ever know where it's going to take you. Also, I said this last night. Some of our best employees at the movie theater have come from either Starbucks or McDonald's. Like, just the best, hardest workers have started there. I feel like anybody that works there and like you make it and you see what their corporate culture is like, you're going to be successful no matter where you go next after that. So, really, just like, pay attention. If you got downtime, I don't know. This might be too much. You might be like, look, Shelly, it's McDonald's. Like, I'm glad you're excited about it, but I'm not. But as an employer who hires entry level people, like if you're bored, ask the manager or like the assistant manager or supervisor, whoever it is. Don't like jump too high up, like go whoever's there, like with you. Just say, hey, like I have a little extra time. Is there anything else that you need me to do? Maybe whoever trained you skipped something, and then your supervisor thinks you're great and they're like, hey, they're really hardworking. Like you never ever know where that job's going to take you. Hi, Toby, or should I call you Snuggy? But hello. Christian said, if they're looking for people to work, let me know. Yeah, so Butter Pecan, unfortunately, you're not going to qualify for a new claim. Shahid, most of us are in California. Every once in a while, I get somebody pop in that's not, or that has been in California, but now they've moved. I have that. Speaking of which, I haven't seen Spider-Man in a while in the chats. You're welcome. Timothy says, do I have a chance if I only received 16 months of payments? You only have a chance for another claim if you have done some work since filing your original claim. Dan Tan, Prop 22 actually made Uber Eats more lucrative for the time being. That's awesome. They guarantee minimum wage plus 20 cents and 30 cents a mile. Also, there are more trips since they acquired Postmates. I'm like, do I want to start driving for Uber Eats? Because, guys, something that I talked about when I drove for Uber, I had some really great passengers, but I also had like passengers that were drunk or passengers that didn't allow enough time for the airport and like wanted me to drive down the emergency lane to get them to the airport. And like, I'm not going to risk getting that ticket and their safety and all that just because they didn't call the Uber on time. But I still felt pressured. I felt pressured to do it, even though I didn't drive dangerously. I felt responsibility for getting them there on time, even though it wasn't my fault that they didn't call the Uber on time. Like, so it stressed me out is what I'm trying to say. But like, I feel like Uber Eats is the way to go because then you don't have actual passengers in your car. Although I'm chunky, I'd probably be like, "Ooh, I've never been to this restaurant before." And then I'd smell their food. I wouldn't eat anybody's food or touch it or whatever. But like, I bet when you get off work, I bet you're really hungry and you're like, I'm going to go back to that restaurant because it looked really good. I bet I'd try a lot of new restaurants and then probably gain a little bit too much weight trying the new restaurants. Emily says, I'm on augmentation tier 2 and I'm still certifying and been receiving benefits. That's really strange. That's not supposed to be the case. Even your most recent payment type says tier 2 augmentation. If you're getting the money, that's great. That's not supposed to be how it works. It should have ended already, but if you're getting it and you're getting paid, that's awesome. Charlotte, you've been getting conditional payments. That's awesome too. Just keep in mind that they may follow up with a phone determination interview eligibility issue with you at some point. Odessa says it's set. Oops, shoot. I lost Odessa's question. Why, Debbie? It's like hiding all of your comments, and I don't understand why. Your comments are approved. Is there a way that I can just approve all your comments? Anyway, I lost my place. That's so weird. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up. I love when you guys say thanks a million. So Zyra, so I'll answer random questions as I scroll back up to where I lost my place. So I'm seeing Zyra's current question: what's going to happen to PEUC claims? Unfortunately, there are no more payable benefits on PEUC claims. Hello, Rich. Thank you. Thank you, Shahid. Have a good night. Catherine says, when answering the income question on the housing application, would it be zero for income due to having not being paid for EDD, even though the benefits are coming? I am really late on certifications. Yes, I would say that's accurate. Even because also with the EDD, you don't know when they're going to pay you, and most of the programs have ended, so your expected income is $0. I think that's accurate. Common sense. You got a letter saying they'll let me know when I can certify. Lidlani says, I do me, but thank you, thank you. I don't know. I think the PUA funds just went. Oh, is Jenny Silver in here? I think the PUA funds just went back to the federal government. Jenny Silver did pop in. Jenny Silver, I just watched your most recent video. Jenny Silver is asking people on her most recent video, if you received a DNCP notice and you have not been able to certify on your claim, first of all, try the reopen claim button first. But if you did receive the actual DNCP notice, which doesn't say DNCP, it says notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, and you don't see the dates that you can certify, to get in contact with her and her assistant. Go watch her video on that. She's going to be reaching out to the press and assembly members and things like that to try and bring attention to it. But I was looking at some of the comments. I think people are confused, at least in part, because they got an award letter. So I'm going to share the story again because I think it's relevant. I think a lot of people are confused about this. When your benefit year ended, you had to file a new claim. And a lot of people got an award letter, even though you're truly not eligible for the new claim. So I think that's where a lot of people are confused. I know a lot of people, they should have, if that were the case, they should have got the 1277 determination of invalid claim letter. And I know a lot of people are saying they didn't get that. But guys, also, I did get a physical letter, even though I mainly, I certified and everything via my UI online portal. But it doesn't hurt to check your UI online messages to see if you got either the DNCP notice or the 1277 determination of invalid claim letter. Okay. Scrolling back up to where I potentially lost my place. Susan, you're in Covina. You're not too far from my mom, so hello. I've definitely played bingo with my mom. I can't believe I'm just admitting that to everybody. I'm like a grandma already. I've played bingo with my mom at the Covina Senior Center, I think it is. Oh yeah, I hit the like button. It says sugar. Killaman says, I know I've answered this before, but you used to receive payments before, and now your payments say pending. They have to schedule me a phone interview, but will I get paid by the 30th? That is the $1 million question, isn't it? The Shelly's $1 million question. And the reason why everybody wants to know is, will it be paid by September 30th? Is because that is part of the conditional payment pay now program that has a deadline that they're supposed to pay everybody by September 30th. So there's a couple things with that. One, you do need to have received at least one successful payment prior to all the pending payments in order to be paid by September 30th. So you need to have at least one payment, and you said you did, that you were getting paid before, so that you meet that qualification. It also needs to make sure that they say pending. If they say disqualification, NA, not paid, appeal, if it says anything other than pending, it's not covered in the conditional payment pay now program, and it still needs to be that you would either still need to call about or email your assembly member for help to sort out those kind of issues. Disqualification, not paid. NA, you might not. NA just might mean that you only had 1 week to certify before your claim balance hit zero, and the second week was NA. But only pending payments even have the potential to be released. Then also, it does need to be pending in the EDD's system for at least 2 weeks, which for most of you have been pending longer than 2 weeks. So it's supposed to. But it wouldn't surprise me if they get behind. If you're not paid by the 30th, those conditional payments, that's when you're definitely going to want to call the EDD or email your assembly member and say, hey, I was pending. I've been trying to be patient because I thought they were going to be released by September 30th. September 30th is here. I still don't have the pending payments. Haven't switched to paid. They haven't been loaded onto my EDD Bank of America debit card. Can you help push them through? And oftentimes, if you guys don't want to wait till the 30th, oftentimes if you email that exact sentence that I just said, like, hi, I have had a number of weeks pending. Is there anything you can do to help push those payments through faster? A lot of times the assembly members are able to help do that. Dan Tan, you accidentally just mixed mac and cheese with pesto sauce and you're in love. I think I've done that not accidentally before, and I do think that's good. I mean, like, that's basically just like pesto, right? What is that called? What is that dish called? Pesto pasta? Anyway, yeah. Happy accident for you. All right. Yeah, Shahid, you're gonna have to call about a frozen account or email your assembly member. Ba, 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 ba. Juan says, if I got the first Golden State stimulus, will I get the second? No. So again, to see if you already got the first one, you'd want to look at like if you got it direct deposit, you'd want to go through your past bank statements and see if you got something that said FTB GSS would be what it showed up as. The second one shows up as FTB Franchise Tax Board, GSS Golden State Stimulus. The second one says two. If you got the first one, you're not going to qualify for the second one unless you have dependents. And then, regardless of how many dependents are in your household, you would be expecting one check for $500. Okay, Odessa, I finally worked my way back up to your question from 921. You got your last payment for week of 9/5 through 9/11. Can I apply for a new claim? You can, but in order to qualify, you're going to need to meet an earnings requirement and a sum work requirement. And those can be different, right? And I had to work this out in my head. I was like, how would you have the earnings even in the last during your benefit year, right? But not also have the sum work requirement met. And I only had to look to my own situation to figure that out. I got furloughed on March 15th. I was paid by my company on March 20th. So that would give me the earnings requirement because I got paid on the 20th and those were wages earned from a W-2 employer. So that gave me earnings since my original claim opened on March 15th because I was paid on March 20th. But then I didn't qualify for a new claim because you need to also meet the sum work requirement. They need to see attachment to the labor force since you first opened your original claim. And even though I got paid on the 20th, there wasn't the work history there. There was no new attachment to a W-2 job since the original claim started. Actually, I don't want to confuse you guys. There's an earnings requirement and a sum work requirement. I actually think self-employment does count towards the sum work requirement, but you still need the W-2 earnings in the right amounts to do that. Most of us aren't going to qualify because we haven't done some work since filing our original claims. But you can always try. I do know 2 of my employees who qualified. They shouldn't have, and they were awarded new claims. Nothing's going to stop you from filing a new claim or trying to apply for a new claim. Some people's UI Online homepage is just going ahead and telling them in red, you don't need to reapply because you don't have enough earnings to qualify. So if it says that, I'm not sure if it'll let you. But if it lets you try and file a new claim, go ahead and try and file and see what happens, but just know that you're not supposed to qualify for a new claim unless you've had some attachment to the labor force since your original claim and meet an earnings requirement. Okay. Uh-oh, Julie. Julie, I didn't mean to skip your question, so I'm going to scroll up a little bit more. I thought I got to all of them. Oh, interesting. I may have skipped someone else's now too. Okay, Julie, where is your question? I don't see it, but I do think I had my settings weird. I think it was showing top chat instead of the live chat, and I've now fixed that. But you're saying, oh, so Julie's saying, you're saying that I did skip your question. I'm sorry about that, Julie. I hope you're still in here. Your portal is still showing your application has been processed. It isn't bringing certification yet, and that way I can't get my card. Has it been 21 days yet? It's going to take at least 21 days when you first file a claim or reapply to actually start getting paid. Now, I did think that they were supposed to let you start certifying, but you are right that until those certifications switch to paid, you don't get your Bank of America EDD debit card. So if it's a brand new claim, if you guys have never had unemployment benefits before, you just applied, it's supposed to take 3 weeks to find out if you're approved or not. I thought it was supposed to go ahead and let you start certifying. And then it goes to a third party for review. Once that process is complete, those pending payments that you certified for should switch to paid. And then after that, 10 days after that is 10 business days after that is when you would receive your Bank of America EDD debit card. I'm not sure why you're not able to certify those, so you might want to call them on that. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, now I'm trying to scroll back down because I was looking for some questions that I missed, and then I was looking for Julie's question that I skipped unintentionally. I'm sorry about that. Bubba says, does anyone think the EDD is going to be extended? I don't think so. Okay, so Odessa, you received your letter today. And then what? It says, yeah, end of the federal state extended duration and pandemic additional compensation program. Oh, can I apply? Yeah, we got that one. You can try, but just know that you won't qualify unless you've done some work and meet the earnings requirements. Jerry says, been waiting since July 11th for payment, called again over the weekend, and now they're telling me it's a wage issue. So what happens with the conditional payments by the 30th? Should I not expect payment? If you've received one payment successfully, they are supposed to release those pending payments as long as it actually says pending and not paid or penalty weeks or disqualification or appeal. There's so many other things other than if it says a status other than pending, you wouldn't be expecting those payments by the 30th. And even now, if you don't want to wait till the 30th, I know it's only a couple days away at this point, but email your assembly member now and see if they can push those payments through to you. Charlotte says the weeks of 5/1 through 5/29 are still pending. Will I get paid? Again, if you got one successful payment, they are supposed to push those through, but your assembly member may be a good thing to do to contact to get those paid faster. Susan says storage shelves are not stocking. Empty shelves last 4 weeks. Stock up on food now. Yeah, so it's not that the stores aren't stocking, it's that they're I don't exactly understand this, but I've been reading articles about how shipping containers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, like, I don't know how many of you guys are SoCal versus NorCal or whatever, but I'm by San Pedro Harbor. I'm not like super close, but like I've been down there, right? San Pedro is like kind of next to Long Beach, I think. And the shipping containers are like stuck there and they can't come in. And I don't know why that is, but like the goods are stuck like just down just over yonder, and they're not able to get the shipping containers on shore and unloaded and delivered. So I guess that would count as a supply chain issue, but I don't know why if they're right there. So maybe I'll have to read it. I got a lot of reading to do, guys. Okay. But yes, stock up now because whatever the supply chain issue is, the stores are empty because of it. All right. Charlotte, is the 30th the last day for conditional payments? So that's when they're supposed to release your pending payments by. However, if you have if you've been successfully paid by the EDD at least one payment, you shouldn't have pending payments after the 30th. But if you do, once the EDD does verify your eligibility, they should release those payments to you and pay them. So it's not like, oh, I didn't get them by September 30th, so I'm never going to get them. It's just like for whatever reason, the EDD didn't actually do what they were supposed to, but eventually they will. And again, guys, go ahead and reach out to your assembly member. Email your assembly member if they don't arrive by the 30th and say, hey, I was waiting patiently for the conditional payment pay now program for them to release my pending payments. It didn't happen. Can you please help get me paid? That's going to be your best bet. You can also call, and I have the claimer discount code linked in the description and as the top pinned comment. Ba, 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 ba. Timothy wants to know. Oh, we read that one. See, this is my problem. You know what? We're at 56 minutes. So normally when I'm this long, I scroll down. GM, I'm going to answer yours. When is the next batch of Golden State stimulus coming? I have not received mine yet. So they are doing those in batches. And basically it's going to be every 2 weeks. They did say that they expect all the direct deposits to hit people's bank accounts by October 15th. So really that's going to be October 5th is supposed to be the next batch. And then 2 weeks from that, that's not even a full 10 weeks, but whatever, by October 15th. So October 5th, maybe I have my date wrong because it is supposed to be every 2 weeks. Let me see when I got paid, guys, on that. Wasn't this Friday. That was last Friday. Hold on. Let me look. I feel like maybe it's October 2nd and not October 5th. No, 2nd's a Saturday. Okay. So 17th. So it's supposed to be every 2 weeks. So maybe October 1st, then this timeline. I read October 5th is the date that I saw. That's a Tuesday. Maybe it is October 1st and 15th. That would actually play out every 2 weeks. That would be 2 weeks since I got paid would be October 1st. And then 2 weeks from that would be the 15th, which is when they expect all of the direct deposits to be done. But remember, if you filed your taxes through H&R Block or TurboTax and you took a cash advance or you got one of those prepaid debit cards or something like that from them, then you would be getting it by check. And those checks are still going to be going out for a while because you can still file your taxes up till October 15th. Then they have about 45 days after you file your taxes to still get you paid. And that would put us at December. So every 2 weeks. So hopefully by October 1st. And if not October 1st, hopefully by October 15th. Okay. Hi, Bad Grandpa. Sparks, Nevada. I feel like I've been there because I have been to Burning Man. You've gambled a little, had to leave it, or you would have been working for free. Yeah. You know, they call him the one-armed bandit, right? The slot machines. I don't know how to play any table games. But there's a hotel that I used to stay at in Reno on the way back from Burning Man that I feel like had better odds than some of the others, but I don't remember what it was now. It might be. It's not Circus Circus. It can't be. Anyway, have a good time. Don't gamble all your money. Maybe Sparks is where the river is. Maybe it's not that close to Burning Man. Anyway, have a good, safe trip. Bad Grandpa has gone back to truck driving, which also pays really well, and women can do that now. Well, they've been able to do it, but like It's an awesome job for everyone. Hello, admin. Um, Rosendo says, what happens if I apply before my claim year ended? It should just not allow it to go through, although someone was saying that it causes the whole account to go frozen. So that's frustrating. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna scroll down to more recent comments. I'll take a couple of those and then I'll get going for the night. Um, uh-oh. Let's see here. Black Diamond. They said I need to do a phone interview for my last payment. What are they going to ask me on the phone interview? And then GM saying, just be honest. And guys, I know that it might be stressful to get a phone interview, but from what I've heard, the phone interviews have gone really well. It's a couple of simple questions, usually regarding, it's supposed to tell you actually, they're supposed to send you a letter, and then on the back of the letter, it's supposed to say what it's regarding. But it might be something like, what's the reason you left your last employer? And you'll say, I got furloughed due to COVID-19. Or whatever the reason was, most of the time, most of us were let go because of COVID-19. If that is the case, make sure to mention that. GM applied at CarMax today. I like that GM applied at CarMax. I'm feeling good vibes about this because GM, General Motors, CarMax, car sales, I feel good. Yeah, stay busy. Tax preparation. I need to take tax preparation classes. I really, because I like money. I'm fascinated about how all this stuff works. To me, this is like I'm a sicko. To me, that would be like a fun hobby, right? But I just felt like I haven't had time to take tax preparation. Joseph, hi, I'm doing well. I'm not as sad about my phone not working anymore. Joseph, let me know. Should I down? So I was so frustrated that night. I didn't take a replacement phone. I'm definitely going to wait at least a month. Well, my old phone's like it's really struggling. I'm gonna wait until at least October 1st. Should I get is the 256 gigabyte enough? Should I just get the Pro and not the Pro Max? Because I do think I'm gonna need to replace my phone. Common wants to know, why did EDD say it will automatically update and then will let me know when to certify? Um, it it may be taking a little while to get the DNCP program going. That should be a good sign. At least it's acknowledging that, hey, you're supposed to be certifying again. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Mickey says, I hope that you are right about not being furloughed too long. My job is with the CDC. That's kind of a cool job. And yeah, I don't think it's going to shut down that long. And especially like a lot of businesses are waiting for guidelines from the CDC. That's got to be an interesting place to work right now. Did you work there before the pandemic or like just because of the pandemic? Also, it's going to be really hard for movie theaters. I don't know what you can do about this. I definitely want to keep people safe. It's going to be really difficult if they need it's you know what? Let's just not even say movie theaters. It's gonna be really difficult to put the burden of doing vaccination proof on the businesses. I don't know how we would avoid that, but man, it's gonna be rough. It's just gonna slow everything down. At a movie theater, right, or concerts, right? If there's a concert at 8 PM, we're all gonna get there between 7:30 and 8 PM. How would you check the vaccination status of, like, 10,000 people all coming in all at once? I don't know. It's just really tricky for businesses, and we're already stretched thin. Um, and then we're all working through this, though. It's our first time going through something like this, but it's crazy. Um, Isaiah wants to know how Hollywood's doing for me. I do not have any movie roles, and I'm not in Hollywood. I'm about a 15-minute drive. Carl, thank you. That's not true. Yeah, Sugar Sprinkles is saying the phone interviews are fairly short, unlike trying to get a hold of them. That's true. Also, there are a lot of the phone interviews that are actually just being canceled. And let's read that right now since you are worried about that. Um, a lot of people distracted by my skin is unhappy. I'm looking for a tweet from the EDD is what I'm looking for because they even said, okay, I'm gonna have to paraphrase because I don't know how to work Twitter that well yet. Here we go. Basically what it says is if you don't get your phone interview, I'm going to try and read it now. I'm determined now. Okay, here we go. Found the tweet. If you do not receive a call from the EDD at your scheduled phone interview time, we may have confirmed your eligibility issue or resolved the issue before your appointment. Canceled interviews will no longer display on UI online. A lot of people are told that they have an interview, they see a date, they see a time, they're watching their phones, and then the call never comes. So if the call never comes, it's supposed to mean that the EDD decided that you didn't actually need to do the call. Lisa, hi. How can they pay you for future rent when you don't know if you will get employed? Well, that's a good question. You just tell them, just say, I'm looking, I've been looking and I haven't found a job yet. So I think I'm still going to need help on, I don't know. All I know is that the guy told me it's up to 3 months of future rent at a time. And here's the thing, right? Like, and maybe here's what you say. Just say, look, I'm hoping to be unemployed or to be employed before I need all 3 months of funding. But I'm so behind already, right? If you're so behind that you can't pay your rent already, chances are, even when you're back to work, think about it. You still have to go to the job. Sometimes you arrive like mid pay period. And so sometimes it can be like, even if you get paid every 2 weeks, because of the date you were hired, sometimes it can be 3 weeks before you get your first paycheck. So if you're already needing help to pay rent, that's 1 month. Then, even if you find a job tomorrow, it could be up to 3 weeks before you get your first paycheck. Then, while you're waiting on that, sometimes other things back up, like a car payment or food bills or that kind of thing. Um, so then you need help with your 3 months. But I'm glad that you're thinking, hey, I'm not going to need help all 3 months. I just need help for like 1 month. But also, guys, use the help that's be honest always, right? But use whatever help and resources are available to you so that you can get on your feet and stay on your feet and like maybe sock a little bit of money aside. I always get confused about who tells me what, but somebody told me they got their Golden State stimulus check on the same day, and I want to say that their car battery died. And so, like, I don't feel like that's the same amount of money. I feel like it was, or they needed brakes or something, but they had car trouble the day that they got their Golden State stimulus. This also happens to my mom a lot. Like, she'll get the money and then something happens. Okay. Isa, you guys, at this point, I've scrolled down. So I'm kind of taking more recent comments. If I did skip your question, go ahead and ask me again one more time, and I'm only going to take a couple more and then I'm going to pop out. And kind of how I do the lives is normally for like the first 40 to 50 minutes, I just go in order. And by then, I'm usually really far behind, so then I'll kind of just skip down to the more recent questions and I'll get those. I don't. I'm just drinking sparkling water. It's got like a tint to it, but it is not an adult beverage today. Yeah. I actually think I don't think I want to drink adult beverages anymore. I really want to save my money. You guys know I'm tired. I'm not tired of working for another employer. I just want to make sure that my financial situation is as good as possible. And adult beverages are expensive. They're tasty sometimes, and I like to try. I like sour beers, and those are really expensive. Um, it's just I'd rather spend my money on other things, I think. Anyway. Isaiah wants a quick call with Tom Cruise coming right up. I would, but you have to be a Scientologist, and I'm not a Scientologist. And I hear that like his ex-wives, they both had trouble like getting away from him, so I'm not going to do that. Save it for Red Bull. I'm trying to give. I also like Red Bull, guys. Okay, I'm not going to give up coffee. I bought Graham Stephan's 20-cent iced coffee. But I try not, it's hard too, right? Like my coworkers all the time come in with Starbucks and it looks so good. But then I see the prices of those drinks and I do that. I'm like, wait, what? I have to work like half an hour just to pay for that Starbucks? No, thank you. No, thank you. But it's hard because they look tasty. I'm like, I'll just go make my 20-cent iced coffee. Catherine says, last question on housing. Has your house experienced financial hardship due to COVID? This can include unemployment. Yes. Well, yeah. If you lost your job though, that's absolutely a financial hardship. Absolutely, right? And you're not back to work right now and you still need help. I think that even this is my opinion and just answer like, but yeah, losing a job, that's a financial hardship. Even if you made more on unemployment, because also too, like part of that extra money and stuff that you guys got, that was to keep us home. That was so that you could afford DoorDash, so that you could afford to pay DoorDash to bring you Starbucks if you wanted, in order to like make other people safe. Susan likes Miller Lite. Um, if Starbucks starts accepting EBT, it's over. That's kind of funny. KA, I don't know a lot about disability. My mom does get disability benefits. SSDI, I want to say SSD. I don't know as much about that as I know about unemployment. I will tell you this. I do not know why, but a lot of times when you first apply for unemployment, and I don't know this, this is just what I hear, right? But I'm hearing it from so many people. I think there's truth to it. Um, they deny you the first time. Like you have to appeal your disability decision 3 times. It's like they make you fight to prove that you're too disabled to work. So it's normal to get denied disability and have to appeal it 3 times. All right. Yeah, Catherine. Yeah, I mean, definitely if you're not back to work yet, it is it's okay. It's you just and now you it doesn't matter that you were making more on unemployment. Now you're not making unemployment. My mom does get food stamps now and she's so happy, you guys. She is so happy about that. It used to be, I'm not sure if it was disability. She also gets veterans pension, and it's not very much, right? She makes, I want to say, less than $1,100 total a month, and we got to do a what my mom spends in a month living off of a fixed income or whatever. But my mom does get food stamps, and she loves it. She didn't. It used to be if you got one of those programs, you didn't qualify, but she found out she did, and like she loves it. Um, well, KA, go ahead and I don't know a lot about the family leave. Um, it's funny, I work at a movie theater, and so you would think that we'd have a lot of that, but like most of our employees are really young, so they're not quite starting their families yet. And then most of the time by the time they would be the age, and I know that families can start anytime. I'm not saying that. I'm just a better way to put this is maybe I haven't worked with a lot of people who have needed to apply for family leave, so I don't know a lot about that. I will say this: I know that husbands qualify for it. We've actually had a lot of our male staff asked to go on family leave for baby bonding time, and so absolutely, if you just had a baby, I want to say it's within the first year. I'm not going to know a lot of timelines and I'm not going to know a lot of details. But I do know that men are eligible for baby bonding time. It's not paid time off. It's just like, hey, you're allowed to take the time off and then come back um, for men at least. But take that time off and go be with your family. So Pamela, I'm going to answer your question about the mortgage. So that's a little bit tricky. And I actually ended up, when I was so scared that I wasn't going to be able to pay my own bills, I also have a mortgage. I decided not to use the available program in my situation, which to my understanding was mortgage forbearance, right? My loan, my loan is not backed by Freddie Mae or Fannie Mac or Fannie Mac, Freddie Mae, whatever it is. Those are the 2 lenders that were really doing the mortgage forbearance. I've got good old Wells Fargo, and I still have my checking account with them. They're not terrible for a checking account if you've also got your mortgage with them. It's easy. And you guys know I have my savings account with Yada Savings Bank, and they're linked in the description down below because they actually do pay you interest. Wells Fargo was giving me like a penny a month, and I just won $3 from Yada. It's not like earth-shattering money, but it's more than a penny. Anyway, check it out if you want to. Don't if you don't, I don't care. So mortgage. What Wells Fargo told me is they were like, we can give you mortgage forbearance. So for 3 months. And they're like, so you won't have any payments for 3 months. But then they told me on month 4 that I was going to owe all those payments. And it's like, if I could come up with the money all at once on month 4, I wouldn't be asking for mortgage forbearance. But that might be an option, mortgage forbearance. A lot of mortgage lenders, especially if the mortgage is backed by Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac, or whichever those are, they will put the payments on the end of your loan. So you're still going to owe them, and they're going to be accruing interest as far as I understand, but they're actually letting people skip payments up to 6 months, and then instead of owing all 6 payments on month 7 plus month 7, they're putting it on the end of the loan, or they're rolling in the total that you owed over 6 months into your monthly payment. So it like will raise your monthly payment by like 10 or $15. But what you want to look into is mortgage forbearance, I believe. And I believe that that is still available. Okay. Ray, on the portal, it only says to select for a new mother or foster parents. It doesn't allow a selection for fathers on the page because maybe that's paid family leave. So men can go on family leave, but it's the baby bonding time. And like I was saying, I don't think that's paid. So maybe that's what that is. Yeah, so you guys got 3 letters from the EDD today. Dan Hannah saying if you have a car, yeah. So yeah, earlier we were talking about JV. Go ahead and ask your question again. I didn't see it because I was blabbering on. I am gonna go soon, and I am kind of skipping around on the questions. So yeah, Dan Tan is saying something good. So they'll do forbearance, essentially what it is on your car payments, where they will pause your payments for 3 months. So for 3 months, you don't make the payments. And then they either are going to tack it on to the end of your loan. So instead of ending when it originally would have, it goes on for 3 more months longer. But you get to skip the 3 months currently while we're struggling right now. Or they can break those 3 months payments across the remainder of your loan. So it'll just be like maybe 10, 15, $30 more each month. Also, earlier, Dantan, we were talking about refinancing your auto loan. One of my viewers was saying she was paying like 8.4%, or 8.8%, which is really high on a car loan. It is, because when she first got the car, her credit score wasn't as good, but now it's above 700. And I was telling her she should check out a credit union, either First Entertainment Credit Union or Navy First Federal Credit Union. Just search all the credit unions, try them all, and they can often lower your interest rate, which will then lower your monthly payment in a lot of cases. Okay. Okay, and Joseph, I'm seeing this, the 256 gigabyte iPhone Pro is a good choice as well. Since I have the external hard drive, I should be fine in terms of storage. Yeah, because I was looking and this one was only 64, so that 256 would be like, that would be a lot more storage. I will say, you guys might not remember this. I had some time kind of in the middle of my YouTube career where I would film a video on my phone and I would upload it, and it like my sound was out of sync. So like my mouth would say, and then you'd hear hi, hi, like that. Like it was really weird and it was bugging me, and it was because my phone was too full. And now I have to delete stuff off my phone all the time, or else it's not I don't have space. So I'm kind of one of those people, I'm bad about deleting stuff. I hate extra steps. I hate extra steps. And by the way, Joseph, I can't thank you enough for your help the other day. I appreciate that more than you will ever know. Really and truly, I appreciate that so much. I'm probably going to forget everything you taught me by the time I finally do get a new phone. Okay. I'm scrolling up to see if I can find the questions that I missed. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Scotty, I never thought the movie theater would be my career. I started working at the movie theater because my best friend worked there and I thought it would be fun. And they said the boss was cool, quite honestly. At the time, it was really far from my house. But I took the job and yeah, I just kind of stayed. And I'm not like a huge movie buff. I love the people that I work with. I love my boss. I love the people. A lot of the staff have been there a long time. Like I keep in contact with all the people like I've worked with. Like it's the you guys realize that we spent, except for outside of the pandemic, we spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our families for the most part, right? Because we're sleeping, whatever. We spend more time with our coworkers. So it's really important to get along with the people you work with, and I absolutely do. Okay. Thong, they're supposed to pay the pending payments. If they don't, email your assembly member. Okay, so JV, I see the first part of your question that says your claim balance reached 0, but I don't see the oh, here we go. You were asked to reapply. Your benefit amount was lower. Shouldn't I have been placed back on extension and had my new claim deferred? Thank you. So this was earlier in the chat. I started to talk about this and I didn't because it didn't affect a lot of people. So if you're when your benefit year ended, if you were on Fed Ed, then and this would have been if your benefit year ended a while ago. If your benefit year just ended and you just reapplied, there are no more extensions. So the extensions, most of them expired on 9/4. Fed Ed expired on 9/11. So the extensions aren't an available option anymore. So the only option now is your new lower weekly benefit amount. However, so if your benefit year ended, let's say March of this year, some people were put on Fed Ed already by March of this year. So if you were on Fed Ed when your benefit year ended, that was the one scenario where you would have actually moved to the new claim right away at the lower weekly benefit amount instead of staying on the extension. I hope that makes sense and answered your question. Okay. Xylo says, can I reopen my claim if it's expired, but I never certified? If yes, can I backdate it? Yes, you should be able, like if you still need those benefits and you still qualify. Yeah, my boss actually got frustrated with the whole EDD system. Like a couple of times that's happened to him and he's just given up. And then like, actually we had this conversation today. I said, did you reopen your claim yet? And he said, no, remind me to do it on Wednesday. And I was like, get it done. And see, that's the thing. Like when you've worked with your boss for as long as I have, you can like sass him a little bit. He was not in a good mood today, but so not too much, but like you get to learn their moods and stuff. So Xylo, you would just hit the file a new claim button on the phone. And then for backdating, you want to be careful with backdating your reopened claim because especially like if it's PUA, right? If it's a PUA claim, at some point in time, they're going to ask for proof of employment. So if you backdate your claim to December 6th, 2020, that's the furthest you can backdate, and you still can backdate your claim, but they're going to be asking for proof of employment. Now, a lot of people qualified for PUA because they had like a job offer, but they hadn't started yet. But so when you're eventually asked to provide that proof of employment, which is different than proof of income, if your job offer letter says that your job offer didn't start until February of 2021, but you asked to backdate your claim to December 6th of 2020, that's going to potentially be fraud, right? Because if you asked to get backdated all the way till December 6th, but your job wasn't supposed to start until July or February of 2021, that would be like 2 months of benefits that you weren't supposed to get. So just be truthful when you're backdating. I just want everybody to be careful about that. I don't want to encourage anybody to commit fraud. And at some point, the EDD is going to be trying to like line up either when you had a job offer or when you last were working while you were self-employed. So just be careful with that. Okay. Daniel says, when you apply for housing is key, does it matter whether you apply with the help of your landlord or on your own? So I actually asked them this. I didn't, what they said was it's best if the landlord and tenant work together, because I think they're going to need paperwork from you both. I think initially it's going to be better if you start the application process, but let your landlord know. That way, if housing is key needs to contact your landlord for documentation or anything like that, um, the landlord's not like surprised that you are applying for that program. Um, so yeah, so they just said that it's best if the landlord and tenant work together, but and I think it's slightly better if the tenant starts the process, but yeah, definitely be in like talk with your landlord about it. Yeah, Xylo, just go ahead and click file a new claim. Or sorry, you were saying reopen claim, right? Oh, can you reopen it if it's expired? So if your claim is expired, if your benefit year is ended, sorry, I read that wrong. If your benefit year is ended, then you would need to file a new claim. Okay, so Polo says claim year ended 4/5. Reapplied was granted new claim, $100 lower than original, was kept on PEUC, never received anything about the DNCP program. Did you receive something called a 1277 determination of invalid claim letter? Because that's actually, that would mean that even though you got an award, a lot of people got an award letter, but they didn't truly qualify for a new claim. So if you got the 1277 determination of invalid claim letter, then that would mean that you didn't do you hadn't had attachment to the workforce, and so you didn't truly qualify for the new claim. I'm going to try and find the picture again for that. So, and then what the DNCP notice didn't exactly say it's a DNCP notice. What it would have said, and it may be in your UI Online inbox, it's really long. Okay. And what it says there at the top is notice of eligibility to remain on pandemic emergency unemployment compensation extension. So that might be the letter that you're looking for. Isaiah, please don't leave I hope that is not your phone number. Please don't put that out there. Like weirdos are going to text you. I'm going to delete that comment, that phone number. I'm sorry, I'm just going to remove that comment. Don't put your phone number online. And I'm normally really, really busy. And that wasn't a number that I recognized for one of like the programs or the EDD or anything. Please, I have so many people trying to pretend to be me. I don't want any, I would love to help each of you individually, but unfortunately I don't have time to do that. And I want to try and keep you guys safe as well. I am working full time and I'm doing YouTube and I'm trying to visit my mom and it's a lot. But best of luck to you, whatever you need, but please don't put your number in public online. And I say that only like because I want you guys to stay safe. So that's like a little heart because I love you guys and I'm not doing that to be mean. I'm doing it because I actually care and I hope that comes through. Okay. Bo Rerun says, how long do I have to wait for a phone interview? They're backed up on, oh, that was for Tom Cruise. Well, then we'll go ahead and put that and all the fake Tom Cruises can contact you. Bo, they're running 18 to 20 weeks behind on the phone interviews. So if you're waiting on a phone determination interview, they're supposed to release the pending payments by September 30th, but who knows if that'll go successful or not. My recommendation is to reach out to your assembly member and have them push the payments through. But guys, we could be well back into here's a kicker, right? We could be back at work working at our dream jobs, but it's new and you don't exactly want to ask for time off maybe when you're new, right? But oh, the good old EDD might have other plans in store from us. And 20 weeks from today, they might decide that's when our phone interview is. And we're supposed to be in a meeting with our new CEO. But oh, got to sit around and wait for a phone interview with the EDD, which who knows if that'll even come because maybe they'll decide that they need to cancel the interview. It's a little bit of a mess, but they're behind. And so it could still happen, or they could decide that they don't need to do it and never tell you. For which ex-vows? I'm not sure what you're trying to verify. For what? Oh, for the employment for the proof of employment. They haven't actually released that list yet either. About a month ago in the news release, they said they were going to start asking for that, and then they never did. Scotty, my back is much better. I think I'm finally used to being back to work. I've also started doing a little, very little, guys, very little, but I have started exercising again, not as much as I should be either, but whatever. We're not going to give myself a break. That's another reason why I can't do the phone calls, because I'm also trying to get back to the gym and lose a little of the quarantine. The quarantine 30 I put on was a little more than the quarantine 15. So yeah, I'm going to the gym, working full time, trying to see my mom, trying to do YouTube, but keep trying, try, and then it'll become habit. Okay, so I'm going to do Susan's, and then I think this is going to be the last one for today. Maybe. I'll probably take a peek at the others. Anyway, Susan says, I got the DNCP worker part-time cut days. I certified on 9/4, and now they say after new to open a new year. You certify on 10/3/2021, a month later. How to get money for my credit card. I'm so sorry about that. And I think so you should have been able to certify right after 9/4, but then you're not able to certify until 10/3 because they made you file a new claim. This was actually happening. Well, Sugar Sprinkles is also going to certify on 10/3. And if you were missing payments for all those weeks, maybe they'll address it in an EDD news release. I would not call the EDD because a lot of times they're not helpful. I would email your assembly member, and what I would say is I would say, "Hey, I got the DNCP notice. I thought that my benefits were going to kick in right after all of the extensions ended, but the last week I was paid was 9/4, and I can't certify again until 10/3. Am I going to get paid for the month in between? Can you help me?" Or maybe when they let you certify on 10/3, they'll actually have 4 weeks for you to certify for. Maybe give it till 10/3, see if it'll let you certify all the weeks, and then if it doesn't, reach out to your assembly member. That would be my advice on that. Lisa likes green smoothies. Well, she didn't say she likes them yet, but I feel like this is where this is going. Lisa says green smoothies with kale and avocado made at home is a meal replacement, and then it's easy to lose weight. You know what's really good? Okay, I would have to put a lot of fruit in that to make it sugary. But you know what's actually good that I actually really do like is kale chips and kale. You guys, if you have, I hope I'm not offending anybody. I just call it the Mexican grocery store. That's not its name. I have 2 that are walking distance for me. But they're like local markets. Yeah. Anyway, both of them are really close, and the produce there is normally cheaper, and it's fine. Um, it's good. Some people are like, "Oh, it doesn't look as good in the other grocery stores." It tastes the same. But I would have to put so much like fresh like fruit in the kale smoothie that it would be unhealthy because it'd have a lot of sugar. But the kale chips, and the kale is cheap at the I hope I'm not being offensive. Tell me if I am. But yeah, the the local Mexican grocery store um sells kale for really cheap, and it's amazing. Okay, put a banana. Yeah, that's a lot of fruit though. Um All right, I'll try this. Okay, Val says, I'm talking about just to verify myself in general. Can I use a W-2 or pay stub with a birth certificate and bill if I don't have a photo ID? I don't think so. But if you're having trouble doing the identity verification, not email, use Twitter to tweet at their CEO, Blake Hall, and let him know that you're having trouble uploading your identity documents and see what happens. He should be able to offer some solutions. Okay. Oh, thank you, Susan. Don't worry. I think I got to your question, right? Um, Okay. All right, I think that's most of the questions, and this seems like a good place to end. You guys, I'm going to continue going live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and I do want to Google this. Hold on. Okay, let me finish my sentence and then I want to look into one more thing. I go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and every Monday night at 9. I do make money off these videos. I want to be upfront about that. I want a strong side hustle, and I would love to build it to the place where maybe I could be my own boss and maybe could like retire from the movie theater. Even though I love it, I would also love to be my own boss. I didn't really know that until I tried out doing YouTube. But we do not have to talk about unemployment. We can talk about your future goals. Scotty got a promotion. Like we can do all that. So I'm gonna Google because sometimes I'm not like a genius over here. Sometimes I just Google, and I'm not saying whatever. But yeah, sometimes I Google and I see what comes up, and then I try and decipher it. And sometimes it's not very clear, but sometimes it is. Okay. The DE1275. This looks like it's going to be long, but let's do it. This is the guide to benefits and unemployment, is what's coming up. Read this handbook carefully. Oh, God. Well, there's 43 pages on this. Notice of unemployment, notice of insurance, notice of unemployment insurance. I'm probably going to have to look into this more because I'm not seeing it right there because there's 43 pages in this document. So I'm not going to find a quick answer for you. I'm going to keep scrolling and babbling while I scroll. Canceling a claim, continued claim. So far, I'm not seeing it. You would think that, like, right when you're searching for something exact, why wouldn't it pull up the exact page with that form? Maybe if I go to images, let's try that. I was almost to the bottom of the page. Anyway, we're going to try and go to images and maybe it'll show up that way. And it's tricky because you guys can't. This is something for the city of Oakland. It's a parking citation for the city of Oakland. That's definitely not what we're looking for. This is showing me a registration form for employers. This is for employers of household workers. Okay, I guess the answer to that is I don't know. Let me read does DE1275A mean anything? This seems to say that you're an employee. From my quick Google search that was very confusing, it looked, what I found was in a form for employers of household workers. Is it possible that someone said that you paid them cash and that they were your house cleaner? I don't know. Let's go with that. I don't know. Rather than me guessing, let's just go with I don't know. I have to be honest when I don't know things as well. I want to help you, but I want to give you accurate information. Lawrence. So if you got your first payment on the 5th, a lot of the programs ended the 4th that you certified on the 5th. So that's when you would have gotten your payment. But because the programs ended, your first payment may have also been your last payment. If you qualify, if for some reason you didn't qualify, you could still potentially request that your claim get backdated. But keep in mind, they're going to ask for proof of like when you last worked and that kind of thing. Also, if it's a brand new claim, though, it shouldn't have ended unless it was a brand new PUA claim could have ended on the 5th. The form you receive, I gotta write this down. I'm gonna take a picture and then I gotta look up some of these forms because I don't know what that one is either. I know what the 1277 letter is, and that's the only one I know. And I think I know the DE238, which is the work search requirement notice. But I do not know what the DE429Z is or the other one. But I will find out and then I'll know. Okay. Alejandro said, my claim expired on September 4th. It tells me to reapply. Do I reapply if the EDD gets extended? So it's not looking like the unemployment benefits are going to be extended. That's thing number one. And if it did, it's going to create nightmares before programming, because then the EDD, if you qualify for a new claim and then an extension is put into place, then it's going to be really confusing. Do they put you back on the extension, or do they keep you on your new claim? And I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare to sort out, but unfortunately they're not looking at any unemployment extensions. So I wouldn't wait. I would go ahead and apply for a new claim if you think that you're going to qualify. Lawrence, you're on regular UI and had to file a new claim because it expired on the 4th. Yeah, so if your benefit year ended on the 4th, then you would have to apply for a new claim. AOC does want to extend the unemployment. Yeah, there's not a lot of support for it. I made a video on that. It's really still the same thing, that the bill that she introduced as well. And Lavina, I'm going to get to yours and I will answer yours. And then I think Lavina's is going to be the last. I'm just really proud of the thumbnail that I made for the video about AOC's proposal to extend unemployment benefits. So if you guys would check that out, I would love it, because I'm seeing myself grow on YouTube, and I'm proud of that, because I'm not. Joseph can attest to the fact. Joseph's probably like, how did this girl figure out how to start her live stream? And it's just as puzzling to me. But I'm really proud of all the things that I figured out during quarantine, and I want the same for you guys. I want you guys to grow and like just be your best and do your best, and like I believe in you guys. Okay, so Lavina wants to know, if I reapply, do I have to do ID me again? I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure. I will try and find out, but I think once they have that on file, I think it's there, and that they won't have you do that again. I know that if for some reason you have never done the ID.me, but you're saying again, which implies you've already done it, I don't think you'll have to do it again. If you've never done ID.me and you're filing a new claim, then you would need to do it. So Lawrence, no, if you don't qualify for a new claim, even if you do qualify for a new claim, the old balance should kind of go away and you would only see a new balance. You don't have any access to the old claim balance anymore. I want to try and end on a positive night. So so I'm going to read Trichrome Beast, because that's a cool name. My year ended on 9/4/21, and I've reapplied and also did the ID me. I can't go any further. Why is that? So, whenever you file a new claim, it always goes to a third party for review for 3 weeks. So it could just be that it's still in the third party getting reviewed. That goes for fraud review, not ID review. And then after that, oh, I see the one we're going to end on already. Although I skipped ISIS and I'm going to do that. I'm never going to stop talking. Okay. Yes, I don't think EDD is going to come back. Also, try Chrome Beast. My nails are chrome. You might have been PUA, and you would have need attachment to a W-2 employer to qualify for a new claim. So that could be it. If you did have the W-2 wages to qualify, it could just be in that third party for review. It should be letting you certify, though. If that were the case, you can always call the EDD. I know it's still hard to get through, or email your assembly member and try and find out that way. Okay. And then Jenny got a lot of signatures on her petition to extend EDD, but that was just to try and get it to Gavin Newsom's attention, and he hasn't. Apparently, she has done everything in her power to try. She got good press on it. She had everybody's support. Like, I was telling people to sign it. I signed it. I was tweeting at people to sign it. She had other people tweeting. There was so much support behind that, and Gavin Newsom hasn't taken interest in it. She got press coverage, and he's a not nice person. Okay. So and AS, it's not looking like you're going to extend it. Okay, so ISA wants to know, how do I get through to the rent relief program? I called them and no answer. I think they're only open from 9 to 5. So try them from 9 to 5. And I don't know this for sure, but try your assembly member to see if they can help. They were so helpful with EDD, which is not something that they normally help with, but maybe they could be helpful with the rent relief rental assistance programs too. But I think that number only works from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't think that they have all the extra staff. So try it at that time. And I've got that pinned up at the top of the chat for you guys. And the comment that I want to end on for some positive news is that Demisha won their appeal for March 2020 and just certified today. Should I get paid out? Yes, you should. That's such a good sign that you are able to certify. I am hoping it is after 10 p.m. I hope it switches to paid for you by tomorrow morning, and that then latest, today is Monday, so if it hasn't switched to paid yet tonight, that hopefully it switches to paid by tomorrow morning, and then hopefully on your EDD Bank of America debit card by Wednesday morning. Usually right after you certify, usually that same night after about 10 o'clock, it switches to paid. There may be a little bit of a delay. I don't want you to worry if there's a delay. I always recommend giving it about 72 hours to switch to paid, but it is it's good news that you won your appeal. I'm so happy for you. And that's from March 2020. That's amazing. Demisha, I want you to do two things for me. Please, please, please just do me these two favors. One, when that money does load onto the first thing is to set up the automatic transfers, right? Right off of that card. But I think that the EDD debit card and your bank, I think it will only allow you like $5,000 to be transferred at a time. But as quickly as possible, get that money into a traditional bank account. Don't leave that card susceptible to somebody doing something that they shouldn't be. Don't use your debit card in public. Lock that debit card. So transfer as much as your bank and the EDD will let you. I want to say, I can't remember if it's a $5,000 daily limit or a $5,000 weekly limit, but that's going to be a lot of money. So transfer it off your card ASAP and then lock that EDD debit card and just keep transferring as much as they'll let you until none of it's on that EDD debit card. Please, 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 please keep those funds safe because that's going to be a lot of money. And I'm so happy for you because that's a long, long wait. And you win like an award for patience and for follow through. And I'm also going to say something else to you, Demisha. I don't know why your last employer had to furlough you, but anyone that had to go through what you just went through and the follow through that it took to win your appeal and your ability to figure out how to stay afloat and win that appeal and stay on the EDD and all of the steps that it took to win that appeal, you're a good employee. I've never met you. You're a good employee. You have follow through and just all of the things that you just had to go through because of the EDD makes you a good employee. So you're going to find the best job possible and they're going to love you. I know it. Okay. And so we're going to end it on that, you guys. You're welcome. And you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time.